So again, our panel is going to be about making YouTube more of like a side job because, again, so many people want to jump into YouTube and they fully expect that they have to like leap into it 110% or not leap into it at all, which is not always the case. So we want to give that clarification and we want to help like kind of make it look a little bit less terrifying to dip your toes in without feeling like you have to jump full on into the water. However, this is just a little disclaimer for everybody here that we are not experts on this path because the path on YouTube is very different from everyone else. It depends on the content that you want to make. It depends on the content that is being released while you are making content, especially because a lot of our friends do like nerdcore stuff. So you kind of have to assess what the waves are of what you're wanting to make and what is popular at the time in order to try and like get lucky, pretty much. So these are just methods when making content that we know of, gives us that good balance between working our job and then working with YouTube as well. So don't take anything we say as like, this is exactly what you have to do.
This is not final.
Yeah.
It's not like the law.
Exactly. Exactly. It's just one possible path. So initial introductions, who the heck is up here? I am Cami-Cat. I make a lot of music based on Dungeons & Dragons, original music and cover music. Oh, thank you. I started making videos back in 2011, but my videos were actually more about animations. I wanted to be an animator, and a lot of my videos were just music videos made in like Windows Movie Maker. Then I deviated from that into making cover music, and then from there moved into making original music. I took it more seriously in 2014 with some game adaptations and such, game lyric adaptations, I should say. Currently on my channel, I have about 219,000 subscribers, about 88,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, 23,000, almost 24,000 on TikTok. I have 24 whole followers, just kidding. And then I have over 13,000 on Twitter. Over here on my side right here is Chi-Chi.
Hello.
So go ahead and talk a little bit about what you do. Yeah.
So as well as doing my my own stuff on my own channels and stuff like that, I also do a lot of stuff for other people. You've probably heard me on a lot of other people's songs, whether it's been something related to Benny the Ink Machine, Five Nights at Freddy's, Minecraft even, lots of different stuff. But as you can see, I'm at like 300K for subs on YouTube. Most of my I don't have that much. I have like 38K on Spotify and like 89K on TikTok. And so
that was the one video you put out where you were just like, you've heard me before, but you don't remember. And just
exactly.
had all of the
And then everybody was like, okay, follow now.
Exactly, because they're like, oh, it was you. You were my childhood. And you're like, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And then we also have the lovely Kathy Chan on my other side right here.
Hello, everyone.
Talk a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Kathy Chan. I'm pretty much a grandma. If you heard me, you heard me. If you haven't, hello, welcome. I have currently 196 subscribers, almost going for that 200K, everyone.
Woo! Subscribe right now.
There's supposed to be a K on there. That's my fault. You don't only have like 200 subbies, I swear.
I swear. I
Subscribe right now.
You haven't. Pretty much, I normally just do covers. I'm trying to make original content, been really going for it for a while, but pretty much so far it's just been probably just doing some voice acting on the side, doing a little bit of late night streams.
Love your late night streams.
Occasionally, you know, I do a little TikTok and look a little stupid while trying to do an omnitrix. That was not fun. So you can see me be really, really bad in that. But yeah, and on Twitter, I think I have 7K followers, honestly. I'm surprised by that.
Yeah. I researched.
But
I make sure. Yeah. So that's just a little bit about all of us. But we do want to kind of think about what you guys are doing. There's a reason you guys are coming into the panel today. And the biggest question probably from us to you is why you want to start YouTube. Because there's a lot of different reasons that people start making what they make. And we want to make sure that whatever your plan is the right kind of mentality to bring to your kind of content. Because there have been people that, you know, you've seen the kind of people probably who are like, I'm going to make it big. I'm going to get famous. I'm going to do all this crazy stuff. And while that can be good to be driven, it's not always necessarily the best way to build connections with other people around you in that space, because everyone's just kind of coming in. Like, the more people than not that I've interacted with were just making it to see what would happen.
Yeah, and honestly, back in the old days, like back in 2009, 2010, back in my day, again, I'm a grandma. Pretty much, like, we just did it as a hobby. We did it to escape whatever it was that we were trying to do. Like, if we wanted to sing a cover of, like, you know, it was back in 2009.
Oh God,
what was hip and cool back then?
That was basically kind of like the start of Vocaloid and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tay stuff and Duet Readies.
Vocaloid,
Yeah.
Duet
World is
Readies.
Mine, all that good stuff.
Pretty much
World is Mine.
like anime covers, like converting them to English, you know, all that kind of stuff. You have like the Spanish covers.
When you
all that
watched like anime in parts 1, 2, and 3
Uh-huh.
in different languages.
those were the good old days.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like we just kind of did it as a hobby.
Because
So,
it
like,
wasn't a career path before.
It was
Like that
never a
did
career
not
path.
this field did not exist the way it does today back when we were starting.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So it's definitely a huge transition for people who were doing it back in the old days and like were kind of like, whoa, you can make a career out of that?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
But that's also why we kind of like to remind people of that, because at this point, so many people think that it's like, oh, I'll just jump in and it'll be totally fine. And we're like, hold on, there's a lot more like underneath it than you would actually kind of expect it to be.
Yes,
Including
very
like
important.
especially algorithmic stuff and like following your own personal trends, but also being able to be open enough to work with people who may not necessarily be in your field, but they're close enough that like you can definitely like help each other up. It's crazy. Yeah, so the biggest thing whenever doing YouTube is that you just got to start. That's number one.
Or anywhere.
Start anywhere. Start doing anything.
Doesn't matter what equipment you have, just start.
Exactly. Like what did you start with? what was your like starter equipment when making your like music and such?
I was I was 15 years old and the first thing that I used was a gaming set gear. Like it was a microphone and it was like pretty much like the most lankiest material that you would find at Best Buy, and I was like rocking that. I was like, let's go. I wasn't even gaming.
I started on a MacBook laptop mic.
Yes.
And GarageBand. And I used GarageBand all the way up until like 2019.
Sick.
Oh my goodness, I also used my phone.
Like recording voice memos?
I was on SoundCloud just like
yeah.
recording stuff, and I was like, wow, my mic sounds great, guys.
And then oh my gosh. And then you got me who did like I said, I started as an animator. I started with paint.net for anyone who's familiar with that. It's an old, that's an oldie but a goodie. An old free like thing. It looks actually kind of similar to Clip Studio, which is kind of hilarious. But I started with that, and then I would make the videos and edit them in Windows Movie Maker. So things weren't even like edited on the time that they should have. It was like roughly enough. I'd have like the particle sound effect, or like the particle, transition.
The rainbow.
I thought it was so cool.
The rainbow effect was my favorite thing on
my God,
Windows Movie
yes.
Makers. Every time we touch AMVs, let's go.
Yes,
Yes,
we touch AMVs. Like so many people who started with those. There's one person who I know distinctly that they've been working with Crunchyroll regularly now. They started with May and the green-haired dude from the ship is called Contest Shipping. Then what? Drew. Thank you. But they started with like the Drew and May like ship videos. And now they're working at Crunchyroll, like making their promotional products and such. And like the thing is I know they transitioned from the ship videos to chorus battles. They were an editor on chorus battles. Everyone who did chorus battles better have thanked their editors at the time. I will say that much.
No, because they weren't getting paid, okay? Like,
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of
that was
those
all free
videos that
will,
are
like
super big
freelance.
in the millions now, like that were in that era of like 2009 to 13.
Oh my goodness,
Like
yeah.
no one was getting paid to do any of that.
Yeah.
They were just having fun.
They were just having
Yeah,
fun.
building
it was
their
all
trade.
out of passion.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
Like nowadays, you have people who commission other people for art, for videos. Oh my goodness, I'm eating this mic.
no, you're very
and
hungry.
then
We'll get food later.
I'm so hungry. And then also, like for music and things like that. And back then, it's crazy how legit everyone was just doing it for free. Just because they like doing it, or because they were like late night hours at 3 a.m. and they were just like, I want to do this.
So yeah, like basically in the be all end all of that, if you see something you like, just do it. Just buy it. If you see a game you like, just play it. Like do everything you want. See a song you like, make a cover of it. Like
sing it.
Grab that karaoke ready if you want to.
Get started.
Yeah, because and if you're not even sure if people are gonna like watch it, just do it anyway. Because be all end all is if you're enjoying it, then really making content you want to make.
Then someone else will.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you don't start, no one's gonna look at your stuff anyway. If I go to a video like a channel and see that there's no content, there's no reason for me to stay on that channel and like browse. So you got to start doing something. And then if you're worried that someone else is going to be doing what you're doing, just do it anyway, because no one else is going to do it the exact way that you're going to do it. There are so many nerdcore like rap folk in that community, and you would think it's so heavily saturated, and it is, but there are so many people who have made it because their sound is so different from what everyone else is doing. And that is so interesting to me. And there's
and I mean, take us three too, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we do, and we like are in the same kind of area, like of a nerdcore, but
we started
like,
around the same time.
Yeah. But we're all doing different things, and like we have like that uniqueness that we can offer, and that can be the same apply to you guys as well. Like it's definitely something that it only comes within you.
Exactly.
Starts with you, comes within you. Somebody out there is going to love and appreciate what you do, what you have to offer.
You just got to put it out there so they can find it.
Yeah. And speaking of being out there, you got to not be worried about, oh yeah, go ahead really fast. It is kind of, I'm sort of more cottagecore than these guys, but like nerdcore is basically the anime rap community. If you've seen any of their stuff, they do like a lot of, the most notable thing that a lot of people recognize from them is they do a lot of ciphers based on anime characters. Yeah, so that's sort of like, they're part of like the nerdcore world, but also
it also includes people like DA Games, CG5, people who make music regarding around like video games or current or pop culture, TV shows, memes.
Pretty much fandoms.
Yeah.
Anything that has to do with fandoms that it's popping and trending and looking nice, that's what
exactly.
it is.
And then I'm sort of like the weird niche person where I've devolved from doing anything popular in anime to taking the long-standing route of just choosing D&D and like tabletop community stuff, which is still very popular, but it's definitely different than what a lot of other nerdcore folk are doing. Yeah. Like making a backlog?
Honestly, whatever works best for you. It's totally viable to do it the way where you have a backlog and then release week by week. And that way, that way you can have something that's like more consistent, and that helps a lot with growth. Yeah, but don't feel like you have to do that if you're just starting out and testing the waters. Like if it's something you really, really are solid and set on doing, yeah, totally do that. That's totally a great strategy. But also don't feel like you have to do that in order to get into it.
There's a lot of time that goes into 10 videos, like putting them together, conceptualizing them, writing them, editing them, putting them out. That's a part of any video that you're going to put up on YouTube. There's going to be the writing phase, there's the brainstorming phase, writing phase, filming phase, or drawing phase, producing phase, whatever you want to call it, and then the editing phase, and then releasing it on the channel. So there's a lot that goes into all of that. If you feel like you can't do 10, then do 3 and have like that initial first 3 and then build on after that. There are definitely multiple ways of like making that happen. So another big step is reaching out to other people. Collaborating on YouTube is very encouraged. It definitely helps you not only make great connections in whatever community you're trying to get to, but it also helps you make really, really great friends.
I like to think that we struggle with this within ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Are you my friend?
You're my wife.
True.
But I can guarantee you that everyone here probably in this room has a trouble, not even just on YouTube, just has a problem reaching out to people.
Exactly.
Solely for any sort of thing, whether it's for self-help or content, regardless of whatever you need.
Anything.
Literally anything. The same applies to here pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, in order to make it like pretty much like to make content, to do things, to get to places, to make connections. You got to put a little something in there, in a little hat.
And if you're worried or anxious about it, literally everyone else is too. That's why we're here at this convention. Like, not why we're here at the convention, but you're definitely not the only anxious person at this convention, or like not the only person like anxious about doing what they're doing.
But that's like the wonderful thing about conventions. Like, I think because we have such interests, the similar interests of each other, we are able to connect easier with each other. Compared to like if you went to a Walgreens and you pretty much were like, hey, do you like One Piece or do you?
You just walk into the aisle like, excuse me, I see you're picking up the Naruto Band-Aid. I happen to be a fan of myself.
Like, you can't do that. But if you, like, we made a joke actually when we were at the airport. Like, who is here for MomoCon?
Yeah, there were like so many people. We're like, all right, out of all of them, let's see if we can suss them out. Yeah, like, by making those lasting connections, you can learn what you like to make and also learn what you don't like to make during a project. Like, I despise video editing with a passion. It drives me nuts. Exactly. So, like, if I sit there and I want something out and I'm like, I don't really know if I want to do that, I can just look at you and be like, help me.
Anytime, any place, anywhere.
Excellent. Or like if I have a harmony that I really, really want to do or have another vocal I want to do and I'm not sure who's available, I'll reach out to you on Discord now and just be like, hey, I want to do this thing. Do it with me. But like initial conversations don't always have to be like, hey, do the thing with me. We're friends now at this point. But like you start with like a formal introduction, like, hey, I really like your content. I think it's cool. If you ever wanted to work on something, hit me up. Or even better, if you come to somebody with the project already in mind, that is so great because then there's not the brainstorming phase of like, oh, cool, we're going to make something. What are we going to make? And then you have to sit there and think about it with each other for like 5 hours. No, if you like go in with a project, oh, he's coming. Okay, cool. By making like those connections and being able to reach out to somebody, even because worst case, if you reach out to somebody and they don't message back, like that's the worst that's going to happen. They're not going to sit there and like message you and be like, hey, or I'm not going to sit there be like, check out this guy who messaged me. Cool. That's not happening. If I see your stuff and I'm not like planning on reaching out, then it's just probably not going to happen.
We're not going to lie to you and say that every person that you're going to contact is going to reply back to you.
Exactly.
Because obviously that's going to be a thing. Like people are either busy or they
Life
got things,
happens.
or to be honest, social anxiety is a meme too. Okay?
Exactly.
Even people who have been doing this for years and years and years, that's still a thing for a lot of people.
But like, once you like kind of do that more, and it's also really good to start with like the pool of people that you're like around the same, like, not necessarily around the same audience, but same audience number, like starting out, because then you guys can work with each other and help build the quality of your content.
Yeah, and guys, it's really good to just branch out. Like, I know that we're from the nerdcore community, but like, literally, like, you were in the brony community.
Oh yeah,
as well.
I was in the brony community
Like-
for a
Started with bronies.
long time.
I'm from like the voice acting community, pretty much. Like that little weird, when, they used to do fan dubs.
Yeah.
Like Cami's, in, like.
Yeah, I started in animations and started working with animated characters and such. And from there, I was like, I wanted to make Vocaloid covers, but I didn't really like know how to make them. So a lot of the time during that time, it was trying to find instrumentalists was starting to turn into a thing because it was like early on Vocaloid, you just stole the karaoke. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you stole the karaoke.
You did. Magnet
yeah.
is the best.
Yeah, but then you start like getting those people who do the remixes of those songs because they want to hear it in like a different vibe. And like you can reach out to those people and say, hey, I really like what you did with this song. Can we do that with this one too? Like, and then by starting with that, branching off of what you like to do and what they like to do, you can learn from them on the things you don't like to do so that you can find the easiest way to do the thing you don't like to do. So like I said, I don't like video editing, but by talking with my video editor friends or talking with my mixer friends, I have found little cheat sheets. So if I want to make something by myself, I totally can now. It's not going to be like top quality, like,
Yeah, and you can
but
also.
it's good enough. And that's
Sometimes that's all you need.
Exactly.
Like 90% of the time, the audience can't tell like a perfect mix from like a pretty good mix.
And then you get a mixer and they're like, yeah, so this is where you messed up. And you're like, okay, cool. But then you can build off of that and learn from the people around you, not only from the people around you who you reach out to, like in the individual sense, but the people who you reach out to in like the like group sense. Because I don't know if, like how much they're doing it now. They have to be doing some stuff now too. But there's like contests and stuff on YouTube sometimes that people will like for fun put out little contests and competitions, or like multi-animator projects where they're like, I really love this song. I don't know if anyone here is a Warrior Cats person, but I was. Thank you. But there's that multi-animator project. Yeah.
They're out there.
That was a while back. That just showed that my relative age. But there's the multi-animator project Roxanne that has like millions of views, and that's just like, I don't know how many people was that, like 30?
It was a lot of people.
It was a lot of people, and like they all got together and do that, but then they kept on working on projects together after that point. Or like even in the content sense, I entered an animator project. And those are really good to get you recognized. Because I entered a contest that was like an animator contest where I did something like a 30-second animation, and I ended up winning. My subs went from like 300 to like 900 overnight. Not overnight, but like within the span of a few days. And I was like, what's happening? Oh my God. But like the people who are those larger creators who want to highlight the smaller ones by making those contests open and available for anyone who wants to submit, like, those are great ways to get yourself noticed. Even if you don't win, everyone's looking at the competition to see like who's
true,
out
though.
there. Yeah,
Really
so even
true.
if you're not the best, you're definitely going to be out there for people to see, which is really
Good
cool.
opportunity to showcase what you do.
Yeah.
So this one is definitely one that is probably the most, one of the more difficult, besides the nitty gritty, like not so fun stuff, which I will talk about later with like money financials, because that was something that was brought up during AWA when I did the panel in person for the first time. But this is the second hardest thing, is that good, sweet work-life online balance.
Yep. Part-time passion, you gotta have the work, online, and life balance to go with it.
So you gotta remember that it's just a social media platform, just a screen.
I know that we can get caught up with pretty much the internet, but I think it's always good to just kind of, saying this as we are content creators as well, we need moments to kind of just take a little moment to step back, look at what we are doing, and just breathe.
Like it's a meme, but literally it's stepping away and going out and touching grass.
I love grass.
Grass is so good.
I can also tell you something that is with this community is you're going to have people who are going to love you for you, and you're going to have people who are going to love you for just simply being a number. Like I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There are some people in this community that definitely see you as just a number. And that's not great. I don't think it's the best, but it is something that we as content creators, we don't agree on.
That's part of the reason why we wanted to do this all together too, because like we were all on very different like stages of our content creating journey, but yet we have been friends for like 5, 6, 7.
Long time.
Long time. Very long time.
So
We're old.
We're very old.
and it's so amazing to watch you guys grow.
Aww.
Really
You're
is.
coming. You're coming for my throne.
I'm not.
You're going for it. Another thing that we always recommend you do is to treat yourself. And it's not just the meme of like, treat yourself. Bags, treat yourself. Food, treat yourself. It's literally, it's okay to spoil yourself every once in a while. It's very easy to catch yourself in the grind constantly for the entirety of your creator journey. And it causes so many people to burn out so fast, even if they've caught that wave and are continuing to make their stuff. They're digging themselves deeper into that hole because they feel like they have to keep making more, or they have to just, they're like, I can't spend money on this right now. I have to like save up for this thing or like do this thing. It's just.
It's the mentality of like, you just made a hit single. Like, let's say that for example, and you're loving the attention. You're loving everything that is coming to you. You worked so hard on that video. You work day and night on it, and you love what's going on with it. And you're afraid for just a moment that if you stop just to breathe, that all of it will go away. And
It won't go away in a day.
It won't.
No.
I think what matters in a community is to have dedicated fans. The fans will always be there. The ones that you've been there from the start will always be there to, I wouldn't say bring you back up, but pretty much get you to where you were before. Always. There will always be new fans. There will always be like, for example, for me, I don't play Minecraft, but but I have a video that pretty much, it's called Macrame Rotting Girl, and it's for Minecraft, and I don't play Minecraft at all. But so I get fans that are from Minecraft, and people ask me, Kathy, do you know what Minecraft is? And I'm like, absolutely not. But it is a thing where I appreciate them, but I can also appreciate the fans that have been with me from the start and know what I am about. And that's always important too.
Yeah.
So treating yourself to just enjoying the fact that you pumped up a great video, going out, treating yourselves to some dinner.
Get the cheesecake.
Get the cheesecake. Yeah, get the cheesecake. Anything to get you rewarding yourself so that you can get back up again and doing it is important.
And go to sleep early.
Yes.
Get sleep.
Wish I could take that.
That leads into like treating
totally
yourself.
not saying that as someone who chronically stays up too late. Totally not.
But sometimes people have different sleep schedules. Like I know it for a fact. I have a grandma schedule. Like I need to go to bed at like 8 p.m.
Oh yeah, and with this, within this community, like you have friends all over the world. So the time zones are a little loco.
Wonky.
And for context, for me, going to sleep early was going to sleep at 2 a.m.
Yeah. To give you any idea. So Gigi's a little late owl. I'm an early bird, actually. I like to be the one who wakes up like, all right, I'm going to like mosey my way on down. Like I've gotten up. The sun is awake. I'm kind of awake. I wasn't that when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, I've gotten into more of the idea of like the sun is down, so am I. I'll see you guys later. But that's because I've learned a lot quicker that I need to take care of myself, especially if you're doing that full-time job and a part-time YouTube career. It can very easily overwhelm you in terms of like, I don't have time to do anything because you're like, I work for 8 hours a day. Now, then I need to go home and work on like 4 hours, 5 hours of content. Then I need to go like hang and be social for a little bit. And like, it can feel like it's a lot going on and you can feel like there's no time to do anything relaxing for yourself either. So it's okay to have the days off. It's okay to do that because the worst thing you can do is keep yourself in that grind and burn yourself out hard.
Especially if you're doing a job that requires you to talk 24/7 to people.
Oh, yeah.
And then you go on Discord or you go someplace and you're just trying to chat with people, but it's so hard, you're trying to work on something. That can be a lot.
Exactly.
That can be definitely a lot. So it's completely understandable, and that's why we got this thing going on here.
Yeah, real fast.
What's up?
Okay. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, that was like same kind of job of talking to people constantly. Yeah, you're good. You're
feel
good. I
that.
appreciate you like double checking on that though. It's really nice.
Love the consideration.
And like, also it's okay to make sure that you're like secure, like financially secure. That's a very big thing that people don't realize either is that they feel like they have to like jump in and then try to like just barely make ends meet. No, like you can find something that gives you the financial security to explore the content without feeling like you have to constantly grind on it.
Like that's what I do.
Yeah.
Like what I have is I have YouTube is my part-time job, but my other part-time job is with another company. And that helps support me because YouTube is not always, depending where you are, super fruitful at the time. Sometimes I have months of like a really big boom where I have like where you're doing really well, you're getting great numbers, you're getting great payment off of it. And then you'll have months where it's very low. And it's like, this is not nearly as much as I was making before. What the heck is happening?
Or the YouTube algorithm decides, I'm going to change it up a little bit on you guys. You know, we're going to play some shuffleboard, and we're not going to tell the creators what the new algorithm does. But you'll see it when you see your next paycheck. And you're like, what happened?
It's a tricky little friend.
And so with that, that's why you want to have like, that's part of why we also made this panel is like, don't feel like you need to jump into it immediately. Always have something where it's like, have your cushion. Have your day job. Have something that's like, this is a consistent paycheck I can rely on. So that way while I'm working on this, I have this that can keep me going and keep me alive.
I can explore.
Yeah, shoot for the stars, but just know that, you know, like gravity, what goes up definitely has to come down eventually.
Exactly.
And so when you do, you just got to have a backup plan and be prepared for whatever the heck happens.
Exactly. So like there are those lower points in YouTube, and then there are those higher points like you mentioned before. Like you might have a song that goes absolutely viral. You have no idea what to do because it's the first time you've ever done something like that. And it's like, okay, this video I put out just got like, what was the video for you? What was the video that spiked for you the first time you saw it?
For me, I think it was the Christmas melody.
Oh, the Christmas medley. I love that one.
The Christmas melody was insane. Like I still have people from different schools that ask for like the sheet music for that. And I'm like,
oh, that's so sick.
and I'm like, oh, okay.
I love that.
It's so cute. I love it.
What was your first video? And I'm talking about like really popping off. Like I said, the animator one for me was like 300 to 900, which relatively speaking at that moment was insane. That's like 300% jump. But I'm talking about the one where you sit there and go, I could probably almost do this.
It was probably one of my Undertale videos, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest. It was like that. Probably it was an Undertale parody of Follow You Into the Dark. It was with Toriel, You'll Always Be in My Heart, and that was the one that really started popping off.
Oh yeah, that one. For me, I was also in the Undertale world.
Same.
Mine was the piano version of Megalovania, that lyrical adaptation I did.
So good.
It was, thank you. It was that one, and then the duet I made for his theme. So those two were the ones that exploded, and I didn't know what to do with them. So when it comes to that for you guys, like when you finally have that video that starts popping off, and you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like I could actually do this. I want you to kind of like think about where that viewership is coming from initially, because it's great like to start with that content being like, oh my God, I made like something that people really, really like. I'm gonna keep on making something in that same community, in that same vein of stuff, and then try and figure out like, and you realize it a little bit a while after that other stuff that you do, they don't watch as much.
Yeah.
And the thing is, right, you have like the full-time YouTubers, right?
Yeah.
And then you have part-time YouTubers. So different meme, I say meme a lot, but different thing, but it's the fact that, for example, let's pinpoint CG5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CG5 makes so much content, extremely. He is like a machine, but he is a human being. But it's amazing how much he pumps up every single time, and that is his passion. That is his thing. For us as well, we have pretty much working and also pretty much like YouTube. And the fact of the matter is that like when it comes to making content and making stuff that you love to do, it's just always good to know that. How to explain this?
Basically, I think we actually.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Basically, it's like if you like it, that's fine. But if you want to keep making the same kind of content for a really, really, really long time, like the example being Undertale, like I know a lot of people in that world who made Undertale lyrical adaptations, and then they never made anything again.
Yep.
Or they didn't
Yeah.
make anything for a good few years
Like, they were
afterwards
just
because they
known
got
for
burned.
Like they were just known for that.
Exactly. No one watched any of their other stuff. Like their Undertale videos would get like upwards of hundreds of thousands of views, and then you go look at one of their other stuff they made for like, I think it was World of Warcraft or something, the one that I can remember, or some other like small other game. It had maybe like a couple hundred. You could see where their viewership or where their subscribers lived in terms of content. And so like, if you want to keep making that content, absolutely go for it, but don't let it define you. In the sense of like, don't let other people's content define you, I should say. Because you can have your own content, because Saberspark does a lot of like, technically other people's content. Like that's a good one, and Jake Neutron as well. Like they do a lot of like other people's content, so to speak, but they're doing their own stuff. They have their own
They have
like
their
aesthetic.
own little twist or little spice, we like to call it.
Exactly.
You can tell their branding is them.
Exactly. It's them and not someone else, or like someone else's content or some other show.
Like your journey as a content creator is finding that spice. Finding that.
What's your spice?
Like, what is your spice? What is the thing that stands you out from everybody else? What, like, instead of focusing on what everyone else is doing, what are you doing? Like, what can you do?
Exactly. Because then once you find out what you can do, you can widen your net onto other things and find stuff that you really like. Like I'm technically a D&D YouTuber. I do like a lot of music that is D&D inspired, but I make the songs vague enough, and I make enough genres of music. I can pretty much make whatever song I want to, as long as I put D&D inspired in the front now.
And that probably
Like,
took
that's
years.
crazy.
That probably took years of getting to know that, though.
I mean,
Like-
yeah, like when Maw of the King popped off, I was like, oh, okay, there's an audience for this. That's kind of sick. And I thought initially I had to like stay in like that folksy, like bar song kind of vibe. But then I found that there were a couple of different moments in my campaigns that demanded a different kind of song. Or like, it demanded a different kind of music. And I tested that out to kind of see like, okay, is there still an audience for this? Like, is this still something I can do? And they stayed. They were like, oh yeah, this is so sick. Like, I love the different take that you have on this. And I'm like, all right, cool, I can keep doing it. So yeah, no, it's about like pretty much finding your shtick and then finding your friends amongst your community. You can have your collaborators and mutuals and things, and then you have your friends who you go and hang out with at the end of the day and go, I'm so tired.
Another thing, no, definitely. Another thing about this community is that you'll have people that will just be working just as business, and then some people who will be working just as friends. And you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell the dynamic immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Who are the people who are like just strictly there for business and who are there just to make friends? And let me tell you, it is a rarity, but it is a beauty when you have somebody that you can collaborate with and also be friends with. It is a magical experience, but I can tell you sometimes—
Like these lovely ladies up here.
Oh. Just love being, oh, the eyes just can't handle it. Yeah, like when you have those people, because then also those people could be the ones who you can go to ask like questions about things that you might not necessarily feel comfortable asking other people about your content. Because like you can ask fans and they tend to yes man a lot, and that can be dangerous in and of itself, of sort of, I'm trying to think of the right words for that, but
so many humble content creators too.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
Like
I met
Living
Will
Tomb-
Stetson this weekend too, and he's been Living Tombstone.
Living Tombstone
Yeah.
is
Tombstone's
the,
like the most
humblest
humble
guy. Oh my goodness.
They're both like such
great.
chill dudes, and like
Super sweet.
their music would not give that away because
No.
it's bumping music. You're sitting there like these people are crazy, and then you meet Yoav, and he's like, "Hey guys, very nice to meet you." Like kind of like you were definitely different than I was expecting, but I'm here for it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but so being able to have the people that are in that space with you and understand what you're going through and can be honest with you is like the most reassuring thing. That also gives you that extra pillow. Like we said, there's the financial pillow, then you have like the emotional pillow. For whatever you're making
And you need
stuff.
that. You need that in this community.
Exactly. So now we get into the nitty gritty, not so fun stuff. This is stuff that, this is the stuff that nobody really likes.
But
it
we
is-
need it.
We do need it, and you learn more about it even when you're still doing it. Like I learned from you last year, or not even last year, like last month, about like some sort of financial stuff that I
You
didn't
just
even
told
know.
me that like a week ago too.
Exactly. And we're going to be addressing it in here, but like there are so many little like ifs, ands, or buts in terms of taxes being part-time as a basically you're a part-time freelancer. Yeah. So it's crazy. You're basically sort of sitting there and have to expect if you make over $600 over the span of a year across YouTube, Spotify, Patreon, etc., anything like that cumulatively, you're writing that, like you're putting that in your taxes. You have to claim it.
Yeah, your favorite YouTubers get hit hard with taxes.
So hard. Especially most recently, PayPal is taking taxes into account into like any money that you have in there. So Patreon is like double taxed now, pretty much. So it's kind of wild, and you're still learning new things like every other day about like the changes and everything that are kind of out of your control as a creator. You kind of roll with the punches on that one. So
Basically, as a YouTuber, the way it's kind of classified as is that you are a freelancer, and when you're a freelancer, you are not getting they are not taking the taxes out of your checks, out of your 1099s and all that. So when tax time comes around, that means that money that you didn't pay for the government on your initial thing, the money that wasn't taken out, you have to pay now.
exactly, and it's not.
And that's
fun.
at least, so a rough kind of estimate is like anywhere from 15 to 20% of what you make.
I actually, fun fact about that. Oh wait, I think that's on my prepared to save. Dang it. I have that specific number, like 20 to 30%, but it's on the next slide, not the one after that.
We can go into it if you want.
Honestly, yeah, so we'll be prepared to spend, be prepared to save, but we're going to start with be prepared to save. So it's always wise to save like a significant amount of portion from what you make on YouTube or what you make on your content creation. I actually looked this up on my current company. It kind of varies from job to job. I know for a fact that where I am, it's usually about 15% is automatically taken from your regular job in order to account for your insurance and for like taxes as well, so that you don't have to worry about it later. That's usually all done by your job. But because you're a freelancer, you are in charge of your job, means that you have to take into account taking that money out. And then you, like, that's automatically out of yours, and then the company covers the other half, is the thing. So they normally help you pay for that later. The problem is, because you are a part-time creator, you are your own job, which means you now also have to pay that other half of the taxes. So it turns into like 20-30% of your revenue being taxes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And you don't realize that initially, so like, it's kind of wild.
Yes.
So it's like they're counting you as a small business, and so therefore
Pretty much. Like
Yeah.
there are a lot of creators who have LLCs as their stuff, so you can actually make your YouTube content creation, and I'm actually looking into that myself, into an LLC, like limited liability company, for those who are not familiar with like the business terms. And you can actually do that, and then you can also talk with an accountant and everything and get that set up so that it's automatically taken out and you can work around that. But like for a lot of people who don't know how LLCs work or anything like that, it's usually just freelance figuring it out on your own. So that is a very good point that you can definitely, I just whacked the mic up, I apologize, sound. You can account for that yourself, or you can account for that by setting up that LLC. It's usually an initial payment for most states of about a couple $100s, and then you have to continue to register it, if I remember right. Again, I'm just briefly looking into it this year because I'm like, okay, might need to start migrating. And this is from somebody who has like the 200,000 subscribers now. I'm like, now I can finally start looking into this and seeing if I can do it. Which gives, if it gives you any sort of idea of why I wanted to make this, is because I'm sitting there going, I can finally move and I can tell people how to do it? Sick!
I think if I remember correctly, I think you could get monetized at 1K.
Yeah, it's 1K and then 4,000 watches. But I think it's also 4,000 views and then a certain number of hours watched. Because I'm also looking into this with my brother too, who's starting his YouTube channel journey.
it's 4,000 watch hours.
4,000 watch hours, thank
4,000
you.
watch hours.
I know it was either views or watch hours because YouTube is now doing like, even though they're doing shorts, because they're like, we want those short form videos back. 10 million views on shorts? Oh Lord.
Wow.
Oh,
we
whoa.
need,
Yeah, that
we
thing
need to
is
get
that
on
thing is
shorts.
dude.
We need to get on
I mean,
shorts.
there's a market for it, but there's not revenue in it. Is the thing. Like you
Charlie's
see
onto
some of those
something.
videos. Charlie's onto something.
Charlie's onto something.
He's figuring it out. He's always onto something, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, and also when it comes to when you start making that kind of money, you might end up in a different pricing bracket when you start making that content, because your initial job might make like, say, 40 grand, and then your content creation being an additional 40 grand, you're no longer in that 40 grand category and only having to pay for a smaller amount of taxes. You're now in that 80 grand category, which is not fun. It is a significantly higher amount of taxes than it would be at the smaller amount. So there is like prices that you have to kind of like account for. It sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, but you could definitely help yourself out by being ready to spend money on your job. Because if you think about it, like what we said, the employers are helping pay for the other half of taxes for all of their employees. That's something they get to write off for their company. Anything that they spend on the job can be written off as like
A deduction
deductible.
on your taxes.
Exactly.
So, like, if you were here, like, a lot of us who are here who are, like, guesting or coming here for, like, doing YouTube stuff with other people, that means that plane ticket is a tax write-off.
Exactly. Like any sort of travel that you do, which is actually. Trying to
Oh,
see-
snap.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, right?
Oh.
Yeah, it's a surprise.
There you go.
The more you know. So like, and also the office space that you use in like whatever space that you have to make your content, that can be written off as a home office.
Your
home office space.
your subscriptions to, like, clipping, if you're on the subscription model for Clipping Studio or for
Or Sony
Adobe
Vegas,
or
or
Sony
any-
Vegas or Splice.
Yeah, that new mic.
That new mic, that shiny new mic you want to get, you can actually write that off. You could be like, see, that's what I mean by like treating yourself. I got myself a sick new mic. Yeah.
Yes,
Upgrading your computer in
absolutely.
general
Write
is a
the
tax
heck off
write-off.
that.
Pump
Yeah.
that baby up.
Yeah, go.
Yeah. Oh,
What?
that's a thing. If you make over 2,000, then you lose disability.
Oh, wow.
There's a potential to lose disability.
I learned something new today.
See, that was just going to point. Like, literally every day you're learning something new financially about, like, tax stuff and everything, which is so wild.
Yes, honey.
I think another point is that depending on your niche, you're going to be making different amounts of money.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I create content like RPG content,
Oh, sick.
not like D&D specific, but like
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that like gaming content generally isn't going to be as profitable as like someone who's creating like credit card content.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So you need to be like people need to be aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
I tell myself and others.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You really want to start for fun because then you start seeing the not so fun stuff and you're like, you got to be able to charge through it, which is why at the beginning we're like, what are you going into this for? Because if you're wanting to go into it to make some money, unless you're really good with money management and like riding those waves and doing the business side of everything, it's going to be so hard.
You gotta love what you're doing if you're gonna be getting into this.
Yeah.
You gotta love whatever the heck it is because money, that's gonna hit you right in the face.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, is it worth it? Is it
Yeah.
not? And that's gonna be the question.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, yeah.
It's almost like if you can turn it into a game, it's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, gamify your
You're like,
expenses.
how much money can I keep from you? This is mine.
How much
I have
money
2
can
lates
I
for you.
spend and how
I've
much
already
money can I save?
Exactly. It's like, I've already spent it on all of my artist commissions. I'm so sorry.
Cami, that was literally you, the MomoCon.
Pretty much. But yeah, actually, speaking of commissions, though, anyone in the U.S. who this is the reflection of working with other creators. If anyone in the U.S. you spend more than $600 working with them in 1 year, they have to get a 1099 from you. So you have to send those out to everybody who you work with, who you spend more than $600 working with a year. And then anyone who is international, regardless of how much money you spend on them, you have to send them a 1099, which I didn't know until this year. So
Learning things.
we're learning.
every day.
Exactly. So like being able to like learn all this stuff is kind of crazy. But if you're not entirely sure, if you're worried about it, getting an appointment with an accountant is so helpful. And it's also tax
yeah.
deductible.
Reach out,
Because you can
know,
work with
to
them about the financials on your freelance stuff. And technically that meeting, whatever the amount is for that hour, is written off because you're like, I was working with the financials of my job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
professional would be nice to help out with the taxes.
Yeah. Oh, also on the saving and stuff. This is because the person doing merch in front of me also works with quarterly taxes, which I'm not as familiar with, but doing. Oh yeah, you do quarterly?
So I do quarterly payments.
Hell yeah.
Because I never know what the end of the year is going to look like for me. So what I prefer to do, and you can look it up online, it's usually like it's like four times a year. There are quarterlies, which is where you pay like whatever you like roughly what you spent the previous year. They chop that up into 4, and then it's like you just pay that amount every 4 months. Now there's going to be some wanes and waxes between what you make, and sometimes people will take that into account, and then they'll calculate they'll take account of everything that they've spent and everything that they made in that month, in that quarterly period, and then pay the taxes based off of that. But that can be a lot, and that's a lot of money management. So if you can do that, that's great, but I'm not always the best at it. So I do the quarterly of just paying a quarter of what I paid of everything that I owed for that previous tax year.
I usually just save as much as I physically can. Like I do spend money on things that I definitely enjoy, but like I also, because of my work, I actually take an additional like $300 a month off of my salary. which not everyone can do. That's not necessarily what I would recommend everyone to do. I just have the luxury because of what I make on YouTube. I can afford to kind of like play around with how much I spend and how much I save. Taking like 200 or 300 extra out of my paycheck every 2 weeks turns into almost like 500, 700 a month, turns into like maybe 2,500, like $2,000 to 2,500 at the end. And it definitely helps pillow whatever I have to pay at the end, like end of the year. I don't like quarterlies. I'm like, let me just get it all done on one day, and then I never have to worry about it until the same day next year. And then I'll worry about it all over again for like 2 weeks leading up to that same day, and then be done. So it depends on what you're most comfortable doing with the money that you make. It depends on what you're most comfortable doing with the stress levels that you have during your content creation journey. And it kind of depends on, just a lot of little things.
Also, remember to look at what state taxes look like for where you live.
Yes,
that's important. I was literally like, you mentioned that to me, and I was like, bring it up, G.
It's like some states don't have taxes at all. Some states have a lot of taxes. Like California has a lot of taxes.
California.
All of your
They're
little
so
LA
scary.
creator people are spending so much money on taxes.
They are.
It's crazy.
They're broke.
I'm going to be spending a lot more on taxes this year, which is why I took the additional money out of my monthlies, because I'm like, I moved from here to Oregon, and I think it's like a 4% like tax raise.
Yep.
It's crazy. Yeah. Ouch. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Definitely.
Yes. So for me, I represent pretty much the YouTube side where it's like, I have this job that is like retail. I work as a server. So I pretty much, yeah. So every time when I get back home, if I want to make content, it's like, I don't know how I feel about that. And it drains the heck out of me. So finding like pretty much the balance to do that is sometimes there'll be times where I know I'm at work and I try not to overdo myself, because I know that my priorities is that I want to make content and I want to be able to do that. So I save myself and I give myself a little time and I give a little pep talk, and I'm like, I don't want to give my all to these people. I want to get the money, get what I need to do. I have the flexible hours to do whatever it is, to go on trips, to go on everything, have that at least. That is the reward that I get from this. Let me take that time to do that with my content as well. Let me owe that to myself, because that is something that I love to do. I love serving, but like it's the hospitality in me, but I love making anime weeb stuff too. So and also just doing that as well. So that is the relevance of treating yourself. And that is a very hard dynamic, really hard concept to do sometimes as well. But giving yourself that moment of boundaries to within yourself when you're working, to just be like, I have given you enough time. Let me give myself my time so I can go home and talk to my friends on Discord, plan out something, do anything of that sort, because that's hard in itself.
Exactly.
And I completely understand what you mean with that.
I used to work at CNN, so it was 24/7. I could be in at 3 a.m. I could be out at 3 a.m. I could be working any day of the week, including holidays. Holidays are a lottery system.
Your hours were bonkers.
My hours were
You had
crazy.
Crazy hours. Oh my
Yeah, you
God.
did.
And everyone around me kind of knew that, and I kind of realized that myself. So if you reach that point at a job where you're like, I can't do this anymore, and you want to keep on doing your content, then start applying for places that allow you to do more of that stuff.
Yeah, the flexible hours,
Yeah.
find
And
things like that.
Yeah, it'll take a while. Granted, like I think I was applying to new jobs for like a year.
Job hunting is a job in and of itself.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's still like pretty much this whole concept of this whole panel is like you can still do both.
Exactly.
You can still work with both. Like no one's telling you to go full time like everyone else, like all the popular YouTubes you've been. You can still, there's still a lot of YouTubers
of
even
wiggle
now
room.
that are pretty popular that work another side job just because they either A, want to socialize with people, B, they don't want to be stuck in their home the entire time.
Yeah.
And they just kind of want to have a good time. And so that's totally fine.
Yeah.
It works
So-
out that way for you. That's fine.
At the end of the day, as long as you're still having fun in your content, then that's like the be all end all that we kind of recommend for people who are doing YouTube part time. You have to be able to keep on having fun with it.
Exactly.
So we have 5 minutes, and we have a microphone in the front. If there's anybody who does want to ask any more additional questions, you totally can step up to the mic, and we will answer them for the next 5 minutes.
Or comments or anything.
Or comments or anything like that. Yeah. Yeah, you
go
can
right
go
up
ahead.
there.
Just,
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Take approach
whoever
of that
wants to
mic,
ask any sort of
honestly.
questions, so scooch on over. All good.
So one thing I've noticed
Yeah.
is that it helps to block the algorithm or the analytics on YouTube Studio. There are a lot of add-ons that you can use. It might work better for small-time creators, but once I started blocking all the extra information, I realized, wow, how much time I waste looking at numbers that I cannot really
Yeah.
change beyond the content I create.
Yeah.
So find something to block that. Seriously.
No.
Yeah,
It-
looking at the
it-
viewership can be so dangerous.
Uh-huh.
It is. Oh
You, oh my gosh.
It's
Like,
literally saved me so much time when I realized only thing I want to see are YouTube comments because I actually get sweet comments and that's nice.
the only thing I ever do in terms of looking at my content, I'll look at the algorithm, like the analytics of it. I only look at it a week after I put it out, and then I won't look at it again. And then for comments, I only look at the first, I'll reply to the first hour of comments, and sometimes I'll continue to look at some of the comments, but then I won't respond to any more after that. Especially because I learned out very quickly after some of my videos started popping off in not a fun way. There was a lot of some fun stuff in the Undertale world where people were jumping to conclusions about who wrote what or who did what song and who did
It still
what
happens
vocal.
today.
It still happens. So being able to just shut that off, again, it's just a screen. So you just shut that off for a little bit, you go out and you're touching grass, you get your cheesecake, you just
And just so we're all here, we can all be in confidence in here. Who hasn't looked at their video they just recently uploaded and kept looking at it over and
I look at
over
it a
and
lot.
over and over again?
I've got myself
just
doing
to
that a lot.
see how it's
So
doing.
it's okay to do that,
That's
but
okay.
don't let that be
Don't let that dictate what you do.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't let that be what dictates what you do
I
next.
think we can say that's fine, but do it
Yeah.
in moderation. guys.
Moderation.
Moderation.
Right ahead.
All right, so going back to talking about just getting started in general, right?
Yeah.
And how it can seem daunting at first. So this is coming from VTuber experience. Did you know that you can become a VTuber for free, right? There's as long as you have a laptop or just something to create on, you can create your own model and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah,
so,
yeah.
out of your particular field of specialty in content creation, what is a tool or form of equipment that is free or cheap that you feel is
Ooh.
good to recommend to start with, so that people looking into doing that
Free or cheap?
particular content would look into getting?
Yeah, that's
Like-
a great question.
When I I'm a MacBook. I started out as a MacBook user, and so MacBooks tend to have a lot of the stuff that you need. Like GarageBand, it comes installed on my laptop already, so you're set there. It has iMovie. It has, and in terms of an art software,
It's an investment.
The art software is a bit of an investment, but
there's Fire Alpaca. Fire Alpaca is a
Fire Alpaca is
wonderful,
really good. Yeah, that's a
wonderful-
great free starter.
And there's
then-
Medibang, and
Yeah.
there's
I mean, there's
Broker-
yeah,
audacity.
Clip Studios. You can find Clip Studio on sale so often. I think I got Clip Studio for the first time for $12.
Love Clip
When I
Studio.
first started it. Yeah, and then in terms of a drawing tablet, I had a little bamboo draw that was maybe $40. And I did not have it connected, it didn't connect to the screen. It didn't have its own screen. So I had to learn how to draw while looking, not at my hands. So that was a fun little
I
journey.
still do that now.
Yeah.
I still look at just at the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, go for it.
Hi. So I am an artist and animator myself. I'm trying to start off. I'm actually trying to make a cartoon. As a lay, I call it my purgatory friend. But lately, I've been feeling less and less motivation and less disencouraging comments, and it's been getting really harder and harder to try to make my dream come true. And it feels less of a dream, more like a nightmare trying to work on it. That makes
yeah.
any sense. So, from your guys' experience, what is a good motivator that keeps you going with your content? How do you pick up again when you feel like you just want to drop it?
I never work on a project on its own for more than a day. I have 5 different projects going on at once. So that way, if there's one that I
Yep.
don't like, I can just go to a different one and like refresh myself. And sometimes it's for a project that's bigger and I feel a little bit overwhelmed by it. There's a project that I have been holding on to for 2 years and I haven't done a thing with it. And it's because I'm so scared of it. But coming to con this year and doing things that you enjoy, coming to con this year, seeing all my friends definitely helped me feel like I can go back to that project. I keep on hitting this mic. I'm so sorry, sound. I apologize.
This mic?
I'm sorry, Mike. Listen, you're just in my way. But being able to do that was just, and coming here, refresh with my friends, being able to see them in person, has definitely rejuvenated my little creative brain to do that song again. And like, just finding things that you enjoy for yourself, like, in order to get back to enjoying that first project is the biggest thing. And don't let people like.
Yeah. Like, I recently had a project that came out and it caught the wrong side of the algorithm and it got a lot of hate. It got so many bad comments and there was a lot of vitriol in there. But
we talked about it actually when I visited you the other weekend too.
Yeah, we did.
You were just like, I don't know what I'm doing with it. And I was like, you go out there, you make like 5 more of them.
Exactly. Do it out of spite. Do it out of spite. Hey, heck you, I can't do this. I'm going to keep doing this for as long as I want.
My love, I would say for you, I understand that completely. I do. I've had so many projects that I would think and I would dream in my head and I'd be like, I want to do this one day. I want to be able to bring that back. And I know you're just starting out, but I would always recommend, nostalgia is one hell of a drug.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Go back to things you loved. Like
what
when you were
I do is
younger,
that I look at my own videos from a long time ago, 2008, 2009, and I look at the comments and I look at the things that people said. And if it sparks something, and I will give this to you as well, if you've ever drawn something or if you've ever shown something to your family member or loved one, the comment that they said and stuff like that really helps in the long run. It is the motivational thing that like inspires us to do things. When it's not, sometimes it doesn't come within you, it also can help by just someone randomly just approaching and just saying it. And I think like spreading that within helps as well.
Thank you very much for that question. Because I know some people deal with
an
that.
important one.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
To go back to your question, for animation stuff, you can use Krita. It's completely free. If you don't have like a computer on your phone, you can use Ibis Paint X. That's what I used for art stuff when I first started. And on your phone as well for VTubing, you can use Reality. It is slightly limited because you do have to pay like for some
All
outfits.
free stuff's going to have some sort of limitations, I will say.
Yes.
But you don't let that stop you from making it. It allows you to kind of like
It
learn
gives you a
with
taste
limitations.
of it. It gives you a taste of like, okay, I really like this. Now I know I want to invest.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like with Reality, you can customize your character. Again, there's some limitations because you have to pay for some outfits, but it's still really good for starting out.
Yeah.
Sick. Thank you for all the extra free stuff that I honestly would not have remembered.
I sometimes forget that they're even there.
Go ahead.
Project management, for one thing. I get like 15 different ideas at once and I can never figure out what to do first. How do you guys figure out what you should focus on more?
Focus on all of it and build a backlog.
All right.
Yeah, I'll answer your question after the panel, absolutely. But but I usually have like 10 million different projects going on, and then I just focus on them little bits at a time. Because then I'll be surprisingly done with a good chunk of them. And if there's ever a project that like might get delayed, then I have like 5 other things that I've been working on that I can go, okay, let me just prioritize this one instead. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's necessarily like not knowing which one to work on. It's just making sure that each one is worked on in the same sort of like scope.
Give
or
it
like
a little love, sprinkle a little bit of love.
a little
on
love
it.
everywhere.
Yeah, a little bit of love.
Because there might be some projects that you like
exactly.
start and you're like, this was a terrible idea. Like, I don't know why I did that. And then you could just, okay, scratch that one, move on to the next one.
The way I
Being
see
able to address
content-
them all. Yeah.
The way I see content creating is like if you're cooking. You gotta
Yeah,
sprinkle
exactly.
a little something onto everything, got a little bit of zest, add some
Exactly.
seasoning, got a little goodness, because if it is, it's just gonna look stale. If you overwork it, if you just pump it on a video just to pump it out, it's gonna look stale. But if you put your love and your dedication and all that goodness into there, that's gonna be the most piece of resistance ever.
Put love in everything you do, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming.
Yeah,
I appreciate
thank you
it.
guys so much.